What's up, guys? So I wanted to revisit this list from last year's Timeslide book from Marvel just to see which of these events have happened already or are happening right now, which maybe haven't happened yet but that we know about, and then which ones we still have no idea what they are. Now, real quick, just in case you don't know, the Timeless books are one-shots that Marvel releases every December that do have a self-contained story in them, but also gives us teeny tiny itty bitty little glimpses as to things that may come in the future. And they've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now, and last year's book was called Timeslide instead of Timeless, but it was the same kind of thing. And yeah, that issue gave us this list. So let's take a look at this and see what we know about all these. So the first event on the list is the 8 Deaths, which we know is the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man that's going on right now. It's almost finished, and I'm not too sad about that. We also have One World Under Doom, which is the big story of this year. It's going to last most of this year, where Dr. Doom has declared himself ruler of the world, basically, and the heroes have to stop him, or should they? We also have Rise of the New Champions, which is a reference to the new Champions book that just released about 3 months ago with a new team of young heroes. We also have the Eternal Storm, which I don't know as much about, but it's going on over in the Storm book right now. She has been possessed or taken over somehow by some cosmic being, and it has turned her into a very powerful Eternal Storm. Next is the False Metal, which I believe is a reference to what is going on in the Wolverine book right now with the adamantine metal or element or whatever that might be. We also have Who Waits Within the Last Egg, which was just revealed this week in this week's issue of X-Force. I don't remember what number that is, but it's getting near the end of the X-Manhunt crossover, and Charles Xavier was trying to get to one last Krakoan egg, and we found out who was in that. And then we have Strange of Asgard, which is just a reference to the Strange of Asgard book that sees Doctor Strange, who was no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, going to Asgard to essentially look for a job. Next is Galactic Leaders Assassinated, and we haven't seen this yet, but we did just get information about what this new Imperial series is from Jonathan Hickman, and I believe that's what that's going to be. There are some galactic leaders who get taken out, and it leaves a power vacuum in the cosmic section of the Marvel Universe, and there's going to be a big story around that. We have the Time of Strife, which makes me think that that's maybe a reference to Deadpool and Wolverine and what's going on over there with Strife, the character, trying to control everybody with an element called Legacy 2.0, but it's not spelled Strife the way he spells his name. Then there is Dormammu's Invasion of Earth, and I'm not sure what that's a reference to, but I do think that Dormammu will end up appearing in the One World Under Doom storyline, so I don't know if that is going to pivot into a big Dormammu story, so more to come on that. Miss Marvel Second Genesis, that is a reference to the giant size one-shot X books that we're going to get later this year that sees Kamala Khan tripping through the past basically and finding herself in the middle of a bunch of different big events in the X-Men's history. Ultimate Incursion we found out about just a little while ago, where Miles Morales, who originally lived on the original Ultimate Earth, 1610, is now going to find himself in the new Ultimate Universe, 6160. There's going to be a big story about that. Who is the Man with the Hammer? I'm not sure what that's a reference to yet. That might be something to do with an upcoming Thor story. There is the Ghost Fist Walks. I have no idea what that might be. Where is Spider-Man? Now, some folks online think that that is also a reference to Spider-Man going to the Ultimate Universe, but I don't think they would list Ultimate Incursion and Where is Spider-Man in two separate items if it's going to be part of one story. I think that maybe this is a reference to the new run of Amazing Spider-Man. I think it's number 11 that's going to be Legacy number 950, and there was a crazy cover for that. I'll try to find it and put it up here, but I think there's going to be a big story around that, so that might have something to do there. And then the rest of these, I don't think we really know anything about. What became of Emily? I can't quite make that out. The Will of Doom, that may be some kind of aftermath of One World Under Doom. Utgard Rises, which might be a story that I think is coming in Immortal Thor called The Death of Thor. I'm not 100% sure on that. Beware the Spiders something, not sure what that is. I can't quite make that one out because of the recording interface. There's XVX down here, which I hope is not just more X-Men versus X-Men, because that's all they ever do with the X-Men, is have them fight each other. And then down here is 3K Gene Bomb, which sounds like it also relates to what's going on in the X books. So that's the whole list, and it's actually pretty cool that from here up, we actually know what it is or when it's coming or things like that, because the Timeless books do show a lot of little teases here and there, but they also show quite a few that never end up happening or never amount to anything. So I guess props to Marvel for at least giving us from here up. But yeah, we'll have to see if the rest of these come to pass and what they might end up being.